So once again, good morning to everybody. It's great to see that you're here at the first webinar Wednesday in February in this year. Today we have some kind of special webinar because we will not present one of our members or one new technology. Today we will get a presentation about funding, EU funding, a special new funding system of the EU, and I think this is of interest for most of our partners and members, and also the questionnaire we made last year showed us that innovation and technology development and also new things and investments are important for you, and that's the reason why we decided to bring you more information about funding possibilities in Germany but also in the EU. And for this case we ask one long time partner of us, Scaberia, to give you a short overview about this funding scheme, and this will now be presented by Frank Schmull. And Frank, I think you can introduce yourself by your own, and would be great if you can start. Maybe one information before I forgot this: we record this as every Wednesday, so please during the presentation keep your microphone muted and turn off your video as it already is. And after the presentation, we have enough time for all your questions. Okay, so Frank, you can start directly.
Perfect. So thank you very much for everybody to join this morning and for the invitation, of course, from Composites United. And it's a pleasure to present the part of EU funding called Innovation Fund. First of all, this presentation is meant as awareness raising. This means by no means it will be completely full with details. Details can change very fast, especially with political issues like Hungary, Russia. Brexit is still valid in the world of EU funding. So whatever you have detailed question, please cross-check this with the Commission, your national contact point, or contact us. Who we are and who I am. We are a small, actually, agency in the area of technology and management, specializing in strategy, finance, execution. We're coming actually from the research and innovation management. I personally have a long track record in global business, also by Siemens, and we actually more or less provide, for example, innovation financing strategies for companies, and we have to focus on business-driven innovation. That's the difference between normal innovation, for example, from research institutes, because you always need to have an angle on the commercialization. The way we work or we understand us is that we are enabler facilitators. This means we look at, or let's say at the moment, very positive thing is there's significant more money for funding possibilities available than good projects. As such, we go normally into initiation, facilitation of projects. So people call us, we look at the strategies, the economics, we see how these project ideas can be realized. And as third part, we go into the execution as project members, also to, let's say, ensure a quality level within the project. So in the end of the day, we initiate, we plan, and we execute. These days, we work normally exclusively on recommendations because this is quite a broad level and we have to focus. So the link, one of the reference projects that people understand our link to Composites United. It's a green offshore tech project as part of EU funding Horizont 2020, which we have initiated and also enabled. Was one of the best proposals, actually, with 15 points, where you can see we as Scaberia are a project member, Composites United, MyCarbon, Cluster Mechatronics, but also Maritimes Cluster Norddeutschland. So we have the three, I would say, the three biggest clusters of Germany with us, which is quite a a strong power for success within this kind of project. And I'm personally a busy business coach for the supported SMEs within this project. So in the end, the project gives money and competence levels and support for SMEs to grow and to establish the next steps, for example, for further financing support. But let's go back to EU funding. When I was thinking about how can I bring it the most easiest way to an audience, because it's very complicated, and always keep in mind there are a lot of people with a lot of time in Brussels. I would say I try to keep it as easy and simple as possible. One step below, it starts to get complicated. So when we talk in general about EU funding these days, there are three major drives, and everything you can see more or less is dedicated to this. The first one is the EU open strategic autonomy. This means the Commission really said, and this process has started maybe 10 years ago, we want to focus on our own strengths. We want to be autonomous from energy, from autocratic systems, for example. And this is why they look into more relations on geopolitics, on technology. We have to strengthen our forces there. Economy, environment, society. For example, a safe society is also understood border management, border security, cyber security, for example. So that's the first thing, which is actually, I would say, goal number one in the Commission. And circularity, everybody hears about circular economy, as this all is dedicated to this. The second thing is actually the European Green Deal. I don't want to go too deep into it, but it simply says the future is a clean and circular economy, also energy efficient industry transition, let's say it like this. And important in this is financing the transition. So the Commission clearly has understood that we cannot only say we want to be clean, we want to be circular, using energy we are producing ourselves. We also have to do something with the financing. And this is what we're talking about, one part of doing this transition. The third point is Repower EU. Repower is something you need to write down and look into, because it will hurt also any kind of applications within the Innovation Fund, but also other funding systems. It is more or less that the Commission says we want to be completely independent from Russian fuel, and we want to have a green transition. This means electrification and hydrogen applications within the industry. So what is it? The Innovation Fund itself is more or less the world's largest funding programs for demonstration of innovation, low carbon technologies. As such, and to enable the transition, they're using what they call EU's emission trading system, which is today, after ton CO2 price around 80 billion euros spent with, until 2030 within this innovation fund to aim commercial deployment of innovative low carbon technologies, but also to help businesses invest in clean energy and industry to boost economic growth. In the end of the day, the Commission have seen that when companies want to start their way to transition, they have to take risk and money. And the Commission says, this is clearly a showstopper, that's why we jump in, as simple as that. They have actually two different ways and project size. The small scale project above 70, small scale projects below 7.5 million euro and large scale projects above 7.5 million euros. So it can also be, there's one project, I think it's in Poland, which has 200 million euro as project size. They want to have the innovation within energy intensive industries, renewables, energy storage, and the CCUS environment. The next call is actually on is mid-March. which budget of 3 billion euro. They have raised it dramatically compared to the second large scale call. And the deadline is 1700. 1700 means in EU terms it's 7000 and not 7001, then it's over. So what will be funded? The focus, aim, requirement, support. They want to have as a focus highly innovative technologies and big flagship projects that to bring down the emission reduction and also promote first of a kind highly innovative projects, so they take the risk away. The aim is actually to have a varied project pipeline of, let's say, different innovative technologies which can be applied to eligible sectors within the member states, Norway and Iceland. And we are based in Norway, so that's why we also are active within the sector. Or other way around, we are now, for example, preparing a 10 million euro proposal in terms of energy efficiency, and the results of this, for example, can be used within Innovation Fund to realize it on a large scale. The requirements, and this is written down, is that the project need to be sufficiently mature in terms of planning, business model, as well as financial and legal structure. And please keep one thing in mind: you need to have a consistent story, and any claims have to be proven with evidence. It's not that you can make a statement within the proposal when you say, we're going to save so much greenhouse gases, we are saving so much energy, we make, for example, hydrogen, and we expect the price will be this and that, then you have to give evidence to this. And what we have seen in the result evaluation, that a lot of projects are not even coming over threshold. This means that this evidence was missing, or even the consistency of the 300 pages you're allowed to provide. Support, the same thing, cross-cutting projects on low carbon solutions and bringing down CO2 greenhouse gases to a significant level. So award criteria. This is something, the way your proposal within these funding schemes will be awarded is clearly the degree of innovation. So it has to be beyond state of the art. Things like you go in a shop buying a heat pump and it's my innovation project, it's not going to work. So the same thing is with greenhouse gases emission avoidance, their own calculation schemes for this. So it's not holding to give a statement, we are saving so much. They want to, after their own rules, their own, as I said, own schemes, want to have a calculation of it. They want to have the kind of evidence proven that you're going to achieve these targets. Project majority, I already mentioned it. This is really important, and also the consistency of it. Scalability is an outline that it can be used somewhere else too. This means there's this nice hydrogen machine in Germany, for example. Can I use the same, for example, in Poland, in Spain, or in Norway? You have to think it like this. It's European market, European footprint, and the Commission is European money. The cost efficiency is the same thing. There are schemes where you have to show the calculations of your project, the way you see the operational costs, the way you see the planning costs, the way you see, for example, you make a product like you produce hydrogen, how much will the market will give to you. So you have to really to show that your project is flying with evidence. So EU financial contributions. In the end of the day, the funding rate is up to 60% of relevant cost. The word what I need to mention or to point out is relevant. And this is an own presentation for itself. So I would like to leave it like this. Feel free to send us emails or cross-check it was up what it is in detail. Normally, they say as a rule of thumb, it's additional capital and operational cost of large-scale projects and up to 60% of the capital cost of small-scale projects. So it's not really the normal cost, it's the add-on cost needed for innovation that you're first of a kind. The way it works is that you have to give in your proposal around 300 pages. And in case you have a grant award, they invite you for grant preparations, project preparations. You have to go through the different milestones, negotiate with the Commission how you want to realize this. And every preparation needs to be finished with a financial close. That's a major milestone. This means everything needs to prepare from sub-supplier contract, from evidence you have to provide to the table towards financial outlines. And the best way is really with evidence. This is, I'm saying this so many times because the Commission is pointing it out in every presentation: consistency, evidence, and financial close. And then actually up to 10 years, the project goes into operation, installation, of course, construction, and goes into operation. And the milestones itself are not that fixed, so you can negotiate with the Commission, because not every project is the same, not actually every technology is the same, and this is the way you can, where you have some sort of flexibility. So let's go to the large-scale call, or large-scale third large-scale demonstrator. There we are back to the repower topic, which drives the story in a lot of funding schemes at the moment. There are 4 topics. One is the general decarbonization topic, 1 billion euro available for grants. The repower topic 1 is this innovative electrification and hydrogen application in industry. repower 2 is innovation clean tech manufacturing. And number 3 are mid-sized pilot projects with around 300 million euros or 0.3 billion euros. In total, 3 billion euro, which is called as the third large-scale call with large-scale call within the innovation fund system. When it comes down to the targeted industries, we clearly have the energy-intensive industries. So it's all about bringing the energy consumption down, the greenhouse gases down, the electrification based on renewables up. And of course, eliminate the usage of gas, for example, or fossil fuels, they call it. This means chemical, ceramics, cement and lime, paper industries, you name it. Then energy storage, green hydrogen, other energy storage, big battery clusters, for example, circular battery clusters, where second life of batteries, for example, are a topic. Then the entire value chain of carbon capture and utilization and storage, and of course the renewables, making renewables, using it, installing it, any kind of innovative technology. So that's the only thing I do as a kind of list, because it's getting then really complicated. You see here the 4 topics itself with the budget per project. So you have a minimum of, for the large scale, for the third large scale score, a minimum of 7.5 million euro. And the different activities funded, where you simply have to see, okay, this is our project idea, and the task is then really to find in which of the, for example, when you have a project idea, in which of the calls this is fitting. In the end of the day, the bottom line is electrification, down with greenhouse gases, and let's say positioning hydrogen applications wherever it can, wherever it makes sense, and of course increasing the production of electricity and advance the electrification of the industry. So this is in let's say minor words the way it works. So the repower EU topics, repower EU topics. This is an example. There are plenty of lists here, which needs to be addressed, or where you have to find a way how to do this. Here is really again the industry, innovative industry electrification and hydrogen topic, where you can directly replace conventional fossil fuel with electrification technologies like electromagnetic heating, like microwave radiation, and also the sectors that would like to replace any kind of fossil fuel, for example, like steam reforming, melting in glass furnaces, and also used for carbon fiber, energy used for carbon fiber, for example. So this is quite a broad case. I can only give you an example. And the best way is really to identify what you want to do, where is the target, or what you would like to achieve, and then actually to see where you can fit in. For example, we are now preparing a 10 million euro for energy efficiency, where it's clearly stated, point one, repower strategy must be in line with your proposal. Point two, 30% energy consumption down by looking into the energy intensive processes of this production process, and also optimization of the production process using AI. So are clear topics to follow. But this is in a different funding scheme. So again, excluded activities. That's very important always to think about. State of the here as an example, state of the art of industrial heat pumps or other currently commercial available electrification technology. This is not innovation they're going to fund. The way itself, how you can classify your project and where you fit in, must be seen very sensitive and very detailed if you're in the right funding scheme. Again, we're talking about, I go back to this, about 4 topics. So your project needs to be more or less submitted to one of these 4 topics within one cohort. So the way it works is that you can, they make a certain level of table, matrix, where the magic word is not eligible. It's in EU terms a very bad word, because when you apply to somewhere where you're not eligible, it's a very short evaluation, because then you are out. For example, in a way here, innovation in hydrogen, for example, you say, okay, we use fossil H2 with carbon capture utilization. There are applications where you can put it into general decarbonization, but also applications where this is not eligible. This is very important to mention, because otherwise it's completely waste of time. The same thing is that, for example, you produce renewable H2, then you have a lot of applications within the industry electrification and hydrogen usage. But when you look at transport infrastructure for H2 as standalone project, you're not eligible to. And then you can choose between topic 2 or under general decarbonization. This is simply where it's needed to be classified, where you stand and how actually your project lies within the given funding. The reason why sometimes this also is not eligible is because there's another innovation scheme called Horizont Europe, which is, I think, in total around 100 billion euros, where they have separate calls, for example, to address this topic on a lower technology readiness level scale. And so there are also, when you're not fitting into this kind of schemes, there are also opportunities within other fields of European financing, which I'm not addressing today. So this is more or less the very short overview about this funding scheme. Again, I could have made it more complex and more detailed, but then it's really complex and detailed. Maybe since I have 2 more minutes for I have one backup slide here, which might be of interest. When we discuss EU financing or EU funding, or however you call it, then actually the TRL levels are key to understand. It starts really with TRL1, basic principle observed, to a level where it leaves the universities, for example, and the labs at the universities. Then actually technology must be validated in relevant environment. So you build up the different technology readiness levels. The innovation fund itself is more or less located on higher technology readiness level of 8, 9, I would say, because it takes more or less, or as an option, to the results of other projects to this, and this can be then is the next step to get financing for it. So the way it works in these kind of topic calls, for example, is that the Commission has identified a certain level of problems within one industry. We do consider this is important, but that's why we enable 100 million to solve this project. We would like to see solutions on TL level 4, and at the end of this project, for example, TL level 6, and then the projects which get invited for grant preparations, for example, or get this project in other terms, then have to deliver a solution to the requested topic of the Commission. And this is the way how you build up actually EU finance projects, topics, new technologies, innovation, you name it. Very hot topic, of course, is everything around hydrogen tanks, the carbon fiber, to get some more energy efficient done. This is also related then to, let's say, weight reduction in terms of mobility, because it's not only the fuel, it's also getting the weight down. So it's quite a complex thing. And we are now at the end where I really try to make it short and understandable. I hope I achieved my goal. If you have further questions, we have now a question and answer session, and I try to keep my given time of 25 minutes. So I hope it was understandable.
Yes, thank you, Frank, very much for your presentation.